Have y'all ever noticed how Southern men come in about 5 different models? And somehow, each family usually has at least one of each. You got the one who's constantly building something. You got the one who's permanently injured. You got the storyteller. You got the one who knows a guy. And of course, you got the grill master. The man that cooked one good brisket and ain't been humble since. I don't know why God made them this way, but let's discuss it. First, you got the DIY guy. Now, this man has never once looked at something and thought, maybe I should hire somebody. Nope. This man sees a licensed professional and takes it personally. If a plumber says that'll cost $300, he immediately decides to become a plumber. He'll watch one YouTube video and start saying things like, "Hey, I think I figured it out." No, sir, you did not. Every project starts with, "How hard can it be?" and ends with, "Oh, that ain't supposed to do that." This man can turn a $12 repair into a $4,000 situation. The original problem was actually cheaper. And every project requires 3 trips to Lowe's at least. Not 1, not 2, 3. The first trip is for supplies. The second trip is because he forgot something. And the third trip is because the first 2 trips were completely wrong. And the most dangerous words in the English language are, "Well, while I'm in here," because that's how replacing a doorknob turns into remodeling the whole bathroom. And at some point, every Southern wife has walked into a room and said, "Well, what happened in here?" Because now the water's off, half the wall's gone, there's tools scattered all over the floor. Meanwhile, he's standing there all sweaty saying, "Well, I think we're making progress." No, sir, my sink is in the yard. And then you've got the Southern man who is always injured. He's always got something wrapped up. Knee brace, back brace, ankle brace, compression sleeve, tape, wrap, something. And ask him how he got hurt. And instead of answering, he'll start a story. "Well, back in 2017. Now we're trapped. This man refers to injuries the way historians refer to wars. The Great Shoulder Incident, the lawnmower accident, the tree situation. And every injury 100% happened while he was doing something he absolutely should not have been doing. You know, nobody ever gets hurt unloading groceries. No, this man fell off a tractor, jumped off a roof, got into a disagreement with a chainsaw. And my favorite thing, this man refuses to go to the doctor. No, his healthcare plan is walk it off. Rub dirt on it. Complain about it for the next 14 years. I've seen Southern men bleeding everywhere and say, "Oh, I'm all right." No, sir, you ain't. Part of your thumb is in the driveway. And somehow, every injury gets treated the same way. Ice, ibuprofen, stubbornness. And then 6 months later, he'll say, "Oh, it still ain't right." Well, sir, you didn't get it fixed. And these men got unbelievable amounts of confidence. They'll hurt their knee, wrap it up in an ace bandage, watch one football game, and then decide they're healed. And then the second it starts raining, every old injury in their body starts sending weather updates. "I can feel it in my shoulder." And then you got the Southern storyteller. Real quick, I wanted to tell y'all about something I've really been impressed with. Y'all know I don't recommend stuff very often. There's a lot of products that I will try, but there's not many that I'll agree to tell y'all to spend your own money on. And I'm gonna be honest, when I first heard of mushroom coffee, I just knew it was gonna taste like yard work, because I had tried another one before and it was just not good. Turns out, I was wrong. Everyday Dose actually just tastes like really good coffee. I also like that I don't get that jittery feeling that I sometimes get after regular coffee. I just feel more steady. It's got things like lion's mane, collagen, and some other things, but for me, it's less about the ingredients and more about the fact that I just really enjoy drinking it. So if you've been curious about trying mushroom coffee, this is the one I would recommend. You can go to everydaydose.com/Emma Baines, or you can use my code EmmaBainesDose to save on your first subscription. Now, this man ain't never told a short story in his whole life. You ask him what time he got home, he goes way back to 1987. You could ask this man, did you catch any fish? And 45 minutes later, you still don't know. Because first he's got to tell you who was there, who almost came, who used to own the boat, who his daddy used to fish with back in the day, and what the weather was doing. This man can't tell a story without introducing at least 14 side characters. And half of them's dead. And the other half you ain't never met. Now, every story starts the same exact way. Well, I wasn't gonna tell nobody this. Sir, you just told everybody this. Or, I like this one. Now you ain't gonna believe this. And somehow, I already do. And the best part, the story gets bigger every year. That fish was 8 pounds in 2021, 12 pounds in 2022. Now apparently it has a driver's license. Every deer was bigger, every storm was worse, every fight was tougher, and every woman in town used to be after him. And don't let somebody interrupt him, cause now we gotta start over from the beginning again. He'll say, now where was I? Baby, I don't know. We've been here over an hour. And somehow every story ends with, and that's why I don't trust old Randy. Sir, we was talking about a bass. My favorite thing is when another Southern storyteller shows up, cause now neither one of them can finish. One of them says something that reminds the other one of a story, and that reminds the other one of a story. And before you know it, it's dark outside and nobody learned anything. Then you got the man who knows a guy. Now this man has a guy for everything. You need a roof? He knows a guy. You need electrical work? He knows a guy. You need some concrete poured? He knows a guy. You need to build a deck this weekend? He knows a guy. The problem is, none of these people ever seem to be certified. You can ask him where he found him and he'll say, oh, I've known him forever. Sir, that ain't certification. And these people will spend 6 months trying to save $40. They'll drive 2 counties over, call 4 people, trade 3 favors, borrow a trailer, and somehow spend $400 trying not to spend $50. And every single one of these conversations starts the exact same way. Don't call nobody yet. Why? Because apparently this guy can do it for cheaper. Then his guy shows up 30 minutes late, driving a truck held together by faith and ratchet straps. And somehow the guy's always named something like Peanut, Scooter, Bubba, Rooster. Not once has this man ever said, oh, I know a guy named Michael. The more serious the job is, the less qualified the guy becomes. You need electrical work done inside your walls? Now suddenly you're trusting a guy named Possum. And my favorite part, when it's over and the job ain't been done right, they don't never blame the guy. Never. They'll say, oh, he's a good guy. Sir, my porch is leaning. And finally, the grill master, the man that cooked one good brisket and ain't been humble since. This man cooks outside 4 times a year and he acts like he's competing on TV. And the second you compliment the food, it's over. Now you're getting a 20-minute explanation on temperatures, wood, smoke, airflow, humidity. Nobody asked, nobody understands, and nobody can leave. He's got 4 thermometers, 3 knives, 2 cutting boards, and enough confidence to season a rhinoceros. And heaven forbid you open that smoker, because apparently that adds 6 more hours to the cook time. And the second he buys that smoker, the Facebook pictures begin, because nobody posts pictures like a Southern man who just discovered brisket. Nobody. And the truth is, most Southern men ain't just one of these. They're usually about 3 rolled into one. You might have a DIY guy who also knows a guy, or a grill master who's also a storyteller who also stays injured all the time. And for all the mess they put us through, we kind of love them for it. Life would be a whole lot quieter without them. Nobody'd be rebuilding a perfectly good deck. Nobody'd be explaining brisket temperatures for 45 minutes. Nobody'd be telling the same exact fishing story for the 17th year in a row. And sure, Sometimes they turn a $12 repair into a $4,000 situation. Sometimes they get hurt doing stuff they didn't have no business doing. And sometimes they spend 6 months trying to save $40. But they're also the ones who show up when you need help. They'll give you the shirt off their back, and they'll do anything for the people they love. And honestly, the second they stop doing that, we'd start worrying.